Hello, my name is Cherie, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. This video is going to be about vintage sewing machine manuals and books. I don't know everything that there is to know about the vintage printing process because it predates me. However, I am going to do my best to explain what I do know about the process, and if I miss anything, then I'd be happy to hear about it in the comments, but please don't come for me because I'm just letting you know. When an author makes a book about sewing, they typically type out all of the text in a program like InDesign, add pictures into the layout, and then hit print. This process is so easy that a lot of people no longer appreciate printed media. And it also doesn't help that we have the internet because it kind of makes printed media seem obsolete. However, in the past, it took entire teams of people working just to make one single publication, and sewists everywhere relied on these sewing books and manuals just to figure out sewing processes that they didn't know how to do because they did not have the internet to rely upon. Today, I would like to take a step back and talk about the printing process of these vintage sewing machine books and manuals so that we can gain more appreciation for the hard work and dedication that went into making these works of art. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is an original Singer buttonholer manual, and it is folded like this because it was originally folded up and kept inside of the box along with the buttonholer. The book was made in 1948, and as you can see, it's looking really old at this point. But I have a special appreciation for this book because it wasn't as simple as just getting a typewriter out and typing out all of these letters and then going and getting a photograph of the buttonholer and then pasting it on top and then putting it on a photocopier and making as many copies as you wanted in order to make this book. Instead, when you wanted to mass produce a book, you had to have the letters individually made in molten iron and then stamped out onto a plate, and then the plate had to be run through this large machine in order to actually create the book. So it was a very long and drawn out process. If you haven't already, please do give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap that notification bell to receive updates. I want you to take a look at this image up close and under a magnifier. And I don't know if my camera is going to get it good, but you can see that there are black dots in here making up this entire image. This is going to be important a little bit later, but I just want you to see that. Now I'm going to jump back to the front page of this, or the cover of this manual. And you can see that it has 3 colors on it. And it was not simple to get these 3 colors. In order to get these 3 colors, you had to run this page through the printer one time for black, one time for green, and then another time for red. We are going to take a look at a video of this vintage printing process so that you can get a better understanding of what all went into making this book. On July 1st of 1978, the New York Times printed its last publication using a linotype machine. This was a pivotal moment because this marks the beginning of the computerized age of book printing. I wanted to show you this footage because it gives us an indication about how the vintage sewing machine manuals and books were printed prior to this date. Now I can say that all the way up to the late 80s and the early 90s, smaller towns were still using the old linotype machine because it was super expensive to upgrade to a computerized system.
It all begins with this machine. Really, 3 machines in one. Assembly, casting, and redistribution. In this portion of the machine, we keep these brass mattresses, which have a letter punched into their edge. In this case, the letter M. When I press a key, these mattresses will fall along this gravity chute and into the assembler. If I press this M, you'll see that M come down. There it is. Now when I want to space a word, I'll drop in a space band, which is a steel wedge. It slides up and down and spreads the line to the exact size that I want in a column, so that every line is exactly equal to the other in width. When we send a line into...
So this is important to note because the spacing between lines of text is called leading today, and they actually use lead to make each line of text. So I found that very interesting.
Now let's watch a line go in. This one's just about ready. It's going across now. The bands are spreading the line out now. The line is being pumped in. The hot lead is hardening now. It's being trimmed. And here's your new line of type.
That gives an entirely new meaning to hot off the press. Now we're going to skip ahead a little bit and look at the next step in this process, which is from an entirely different department, which was set up to arrange the lines of text into one page on a thing that they called a page form.
Lines of type and picture cuts are made up into full-page forms, guided by editors' layout sheets.
Where does this thing go?
I think the one that should be 8 and a half.
All right, look. You want to make a box out of it?
Yeah, stick it up in here somewhere. We all done here?
Yeah, that was all I got.
Can you imagine how annoying that would be to have to arrange every single line of text for a book or publication?
The handling of type and cuts is the job of the makeup man, while the page editor indicates to him what she wants. Reading the type upside down and backwards, he sees a reverse image of what will be the final printed page, and may even catch an overlooked error.
Can you imagine having to go through this entire process only to find an error and need to start all over again? That would be insane. Now we're going to look at the following step, which is to tighten everything up and go ahead and head on to print.
Makeup's tighten keys to bring type and cuts closely together. This keeps pieces from falling out when forms are moved off the stones.
That would be another tragedy, to do all of this work and to have everything fall out of the form that you created and then have to start all over again with arranging everything. They are about to take this large page form and make it into one page by transferring it over to another piece of lead. So that's what we're going to take a look at now.
The mat will soon be curved and dried into a half-cylinder form. From it, curved, solid lead plates will be cast to fit on the rotary presses. The pressure of 1 ton per square inch is forced upon the cardboard. The raised lead type presses into the mat, forming a mold of recessed letters. The mat is now right reading and ready for casting.
Okay, so now it's off to an entirely different department. And what I got from watching that short clip was that a lot of jobs were lost when they switched over from linotype to the newer system. And then after they switched to the newer system, they switched to the system that we're in now. And even more jobs were lost through that. So now we're only down to like 2 different jobs that a person can do in order to print, because all the other ones have been eliminated. And that is just insane to me.
The last reversal, from wrong reading type to the final inked, right reading printed page.
Okay, so there we have it. That is the printing process. When hot press printing ended, they picked up the earliest forms of computerized printing, and they also started using a process called offset lithography. This Singer book is a primary example of that, and this is why I am showing it to you. Every single sewing technique is included in this book with tutorials and illustrations. I purchased this book because you can see hints of the old and also hints of the new. The hints of the old are the two color printing where you have the black and then the hints of red, like it was run through the printer one more time to get the red. However, when you go to the title pages, they did something very special, and that was to add full color images. So this is really the earliest form of computer technology that we're seeing here, because the old school hot presses did not have the capability to print full color images like this. And I do know that this is offset lithography being used, because once I look at this under the magnifier, I can see that the individual dots that are used to make up this image are made from two different colors, which means that they are half-tone dots, meaning that one half of the dot is one color and another half of the dot is another color. So that is an indication that this book was printed using offset lithography. And I do have a short video to show you about the upgraded technology, and we're going to take a look at that now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this new and innovative printing process.
News stories, when they come to the new offset composing room, have already been punched on paper tape by a TTS operator. The tape has been coded for type size and style, location in the newspaper, and column width has been justified by digital computer.
Look at that computer. I have never seen anything like that in my life. That thing is huge.
Inside the automatic compositor, a lightning-fast photographic type drum spins and exposes each letter in proper sequence at the fast rate of 28 lines of copy per minute. Once the story is recorded on photosensitized paper in a cassette, it's placed in a developer unit.
Did he just say that all of this information was saved on a cassette tape?
Seconds later, the copy's ready for proofing and paste up. Other composing room workers operate similar automated equipment that produces story heads, display ad type, and headline copy.
So they needed an entirely separate computer to make headlines, and it couldn't go in the same computer as the computer that made the body copy. Make that make sense.
A makeup dummy, the same as used in a letterpress newspaper, indicates proper placement of copy and overall page format. With photocopy ready, the paste-up man can go to work. In the form of screen contact prints, news pictures and display ads come directly from the copy camera and are ready for pasting. Photo engraving is a thing of the past here.
When I was in the first grade, I took a trip to a local newspaper, and a paste-up artist actually picked me up and showed me what he had on his table, and that was something that I never forgot. This is truly an amazing job right here.
Next, a page-size photographic negative of the paste-up is made, and offset printing plates are prepared. In some newspaper plants, fully automated equipment is now capable of punching and diazo-coating these aluminum sheets at the rate of 100 per hour. The negatives are placed on top of the light-sensitized plates, and two at a time, they're fed into an automatic plate processing machine. First, a timed exposure through the negative to the diazo-coated aluminum. Second, the negatives are separated from the plates and returned at the start of the cycle for storage and future use. Next, the automatic developing cycle takes over.
This is quite an amazing process. It's still a longer process than what we would be used to, but you can tell that there were a lot of advancements made between the hot press and this system.
Followed by a rinse. A gum arabic solution is applied to the unetched surface of each plate. This step allows the ink of the offset press to adhere only to the plate's high image surface. The processing is complete. All that remains is to crimp the plate ends and attach to the offset press cylinders.
Can't you see that those plates are a lot smaller than the ones in the hot press system? The other guy had to take 2 hands in order to just pick up the lead form that was there, whereas this one can be handled with 1 hand. While offset printing was a lot less complicated than the linotype machine of the past, it still was very complicated in the beginning. For that reason, we should have a lot more appreciation for the vintage sewing machine books and manuals that many of us have in our sewing rooms. And I hope that this video has led you to understand the importance of these books. And with that, I will say thanks so much for watching. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to receive more sewing related content. Peace.